Let's explore how writers and authors can stay motivated when writing fiction. A practical guide. Writing fiction is a rewarding but challenging journey. While the excitement of starting a new project can be exhilarating, staying motivated throughout the process can be difficult, especially when faced with writer's block, self-doubt, or creative fatigue. For new and seasoned writers alike, maintaining momentum is the key to completing your story and keeping your joy in the craft. Here's the thing. People often think, oh, I'm going to write and publish a novel like it's going to be snapping quick. And the truth is that it can take weeks, months, and even years to write a good story. And it's not that the first draft really takes all that long. Once you get into the swing of it, you can do a first draft in 30 days. But those subsequent drafts and getting your novel as good as you can get it can take a considerable amount of time. My first novel took me 10 years, and that's very common for most writers. Because when you're writing your first novel, you're not only writing the story, you're also learning how to do it. And it takes a very long time to do it. The good news is that once you write a few novels, you can crank them out pretty quickly. When I'm on a roll, I can get a novel out, a small one, like 40, 50,000 words in about 30 days. So you get faster. But the key is staying motivated while you're doing it. Let's take a look at this step-by-step guide on how to stay motivated when writing your fiction novel. The first step to staying motivated when writing your fiction books is to set clear and achievable goals. Having clear goals provides direction and a sense of accomplishment. In order to help you, you can break down your project. Try dividing your novel or story into smaller, manageable chunks, such as chapters or scenes. And in this way, you can say, I'm going to finish one scene today, or I'm going to finish one chapter today. Or you might say, I'm going to do one scene or one chapter this week if you've got a really busy schedule. And that brings us to set daily or weekly targets. Aim for a specific word count or time spent writing each day. For example, you could say, I'm going to write 500 words every day or every week. Or you could say, I'm going to sit down and write between the hours of 10 a.m. and 11 a.m. every day, and I'm going to put my butt in the seat and I'm going to sit there and write. Or I'm going to sit there and not write, but I'm going to put my butt in the seat for 1 hour every day. Remember to celebrate milestones. Acknowledge when you finish a chapter, reach a word count goal, or solve a tricky plot issue. And your reward can be anything. It can be a piece of cake, it can be a walk around the block, it can be a new piece of jewelry or a new small thing that you've wanted for a while. But remember to celebrate your milestones. Tip number 2. Create a writing routine. Consistency builds discipline and minimizes procrastination. To help you create a routine, you might want to schedule a writing time. So pick a time of day when you feel most creative. Some writers are most creative in the early morning hours, like before everyone in their house gets up. Other writers are very creative after everyone has already gone to bed in the evening. And some writers can write anywhere. They can schedule a time in the afternoon or the early evening before dinner. But whatever you do, schedule a time that's good for you. 2. Choose a writing space. Or set up a space that's dedicated to your writing. This could be a spare bedroom. In fact, most writers set their offices up in spare bedrooms. If you've got a guest room that hasn't been used in a while, maybe turn that into your writing office. Other writers have like she or he sheds. They buy a shed, set it up out back, put some heating and air conditioning in it, get some power, lights, water, bathroom, and they give themselves like a home away from home or an office space away from the home where they can go and write distraction free. And other writers may choose less expensive options. Maybe they'll go to the library and do their writing there, or they'll go to the park and write their fiction in the car or van or whatever vehicle you have. But whatever you do, choose a writing space that is uniquely yours and that is a distraction-free environment where you can focus on writing your novel. 3, make it a habit. Make writing a habit. Write at the same place at the same time every day. And, they say it only takes, 3 days to turn something into a habit. So, if you start this project on a Monday, by Thursday, you'll have the swing of it and you'll be going to your writing spot every day. In theory. Well, this is very interesting. I decided to look it up because somewhere along the way I heard that it takes 3 days or 72 hours to make or break a habit. But here we go. My Search Labs AI overview says that it can take anywhere from 18 to 254 days to form a new habit, with it taking around 66 days to reliably incorporate a new behavior into a routine. Now that's really interesting. They're talking about a 21-day myth. Where did I hear the 3 days? Let's look. Here we go. The 3-day rule is often mentioned in context of starting with small milestones. That's interesting because when I remember it, it was 3 days to make or break a habit. This I've never heard, 21 days. So I guess you'll need to stick with it longer than 3 days. Maybe you'll want to try it for a month. Try writing every day for the month of December or the month of January. Make it a New Year's resolution to write every day for the month of January. That may help you get into the swing of staying motivated to write your novel. But let's go back to the article and take a look at the next steps. So, number 3, embrace the first draft as imperfect. I say this all the time. Do not strive for perfection. You're never going to achieve it, and if you try to do it, you're never going to finish. But, and like this says, many writers lose motivation because they expect perfection in the first draft. You're going to get anything but perfection. And in order to make this a thing, you need to silence your inner critic. Remind yourself that the first draft is about getting ideas down, not about making it perfect. And that's just it. The idea of a first draft is to write your first draft from beginning to end. It does not need to be perfect. I know writers who they carry around a notebook and they write down great things in that notebook. Whether it's a first paragraph, the first 10 pages, or whatever it is. And then they'll go home and they'll start typing that in, and they won't like it. And they'll go back to their first paragraph and they'll rewrite it. And they don't like it. And they'll go back to their first paragraph and they'll rewrite it because they don't like it. And 2 or 3 months later, you'll say, hey, how's that story you're working on going? Oh, well, I'm still stuck on the first paragraph. 30, 60 days later, don't stick yourself on the first paragraph or the first chapter. Write the book. You need a beginning, a middle, and an end for your first draft. Write it down, then figure out how to fix it. And focus on your process or your progress. Writing something is better than writing nothing. You can always revise it later. And that's the thing. Stories happen as you do subsequent drafts. Your whole story isn't in your first draft. I like to say that, my first draft is like a skeleton. I've laid down the bones. Now I need to put on the muscles and the nerves and the skin, and I need to give them, their features, the details. So you can look at it the same way. Your first draft is the skeleton. It's the bones. It's your foundation. Then you start filling in all the details, adding the muscles so that your story is strong, adding the nerves so that your story makes people feel something. And then you're going to add the superficial details, the skin and the hair color and the eyes and the lips and the mouth and, the body shape. That's what you want to do to craft your story. So that's sort of the scientist's way or the biologist's way of writing a story. I also once wrote an article called The Pizza Way to Write a Story, where your first draft is the crust, your second draft is the sauce, your third draft is the cheese, your fourth draft is all those toppings you love. So you can write it like a biology project, or you can write your story like a pizza, or think about it in those ways. And try some mantras for motivation. Use affirmations like getting it done is better than being perfect, or you can't edit a blank page. You cannot edit a blank page. If you're sitting staring at a blank page, write something or draw something. If you're working on pen and paper, draw something. Maybe you want to draw your main character first. Maybe you want to draw the setting first. And sometimes I do that. And you know what? I'll show you what I draw my pictures in. So this right here is Synfig Studio. It's another free program. And it's got a heck of a learning curve. But sometimes I'll draw my stuff. Like, here's a circle. And I want to move this circle around. So I'm going to, put it right there. Maybe I want to see my character's face before I do anything else. And I can move this stuff around and do this. Maybe I want to see my character's face first. And I'll sit and I'll do this before I write anything. Because maybe I can't see my character's face in my mind. So I'm going to try and draw it. So let's see. So here's my little circle. And I've made a lot of circles, but I'm guessing that this is the one that I'm using. So, now isn't that cool? Now if I had adjusted these prior, I could have the same eyeballs. But, so maybe I just want to draw my character first. Maybe I want to give my character a big bulbous nose. So sometimes I'll draw my character first. Mouths are a little bit difficult. And no, I'm not showing you. This is not a tutorial on how to draw a picture, but sometimes maybe you want to draw your character first. Or look at their face. See? There's a little face. Maybe that's my character. Maybe my story is about, an alien. And this is, what the character looks like. And now that I see this, I can describe it. Right? Or maybe you want to do the setting first. Or maybe you want to draw the background first. Like in this background, I spent a considerable amount of time. This is supposedly Shadow's living room, and I spent a considerable amount of time doing this. Here's her front door and her couch with her blanket and her other blanket and her window showing the purple sky and the clouds and her carpet. You know, once you see it, you can describe it. Like, if I wanted to write a story about this living room, I could start with this description of the living room because I drew it first. So maybe that'll help you. Draw the thing before you write the thing. So yeah, if you're ever suffering from blank page syndrome, try drawing your book first. Try drawing the scene that you're trying to write. It could help you a great deal. Number 4, stay connected to your story. Keep your passion alive by regularly reconnecting with your characters and themes. Revisit your inspiration. Remind yourself why you started writing this story. Was it an image, a dream, a personal experience? In order to do this, you'll want to do that thing I call like writing your sentence in your paragraph. Write down your sentence, the premise of the story in a single, simple sentence. Then expand on that sentence in a paragraph. Then under that, state why you're writing the story and put that up at the top. That way, if you ever get lost in what you're doing, you can scroll up to the top and read your sentence, your paragraph, and your motivation. It's kind of like when a company has missions and values statements. You're creating your mission and value statements for your fiction book before you ever even write one word of the story. And that can help keep you motivated. Get to know your characters. Spend time developing your characters' backstories, motivations, and quirks. This can reignite your excitement to tell their story. If you didn't do this at first, which I don't really advocate that you do, but if you get lost, figure out what you know about your characters. What have you written so far? What are their likes and dislikes? How do they look? What's the backstory? What have you written about their backstory? You can get back into your book by examining your characters. Visualize key moments. Imagine scenes that you're excited to write, even if they're later in the story. In fact, you can write those exciting scenes right now. And sometimes I do. If I have an idea for a great scene, sometimes I will write that immediately, and maybe I'll stick it at the bottom. Or if I'm a little bit further on in the book, maybe I'll stick it where I think it goes. So you can do that. You can write exciting scenes and then write your way toward that scene. And sometimes that can help motivate you. Staying motivated, tip number 5. Use tools and prompts to push through your blocks. When your motivation wanes, creative tools can help you find your groove again. Try using writing prompts. I do writing prompts. All my little short videos, most of those are writing prompts. So if you're stuck, try something new. Grab a writing prompt and write down a paragraph or two on a new idea. Or try to use those prompts to explore your characters in different ways. Put your characters in that scene with that writing prompt and see how they react. This can help you learn more about your character. If the writing prompts don't help, you might try using timers and writing sprints. So what you do with a timer or a writing sprint is that you time your writing session. And for like 10, 15, 20 minutes, write whatever comes into your mind, no matter what it is, write it down. The other thing you can do is write on your story for 20 minutes, no matter what it is, write it down. And you can even make a game with it. See how many words you can write in, this amount of time. And what this does is it creates a sense of urgency and removes your ability to stop and overthink what you're writing. Here's my favorite one. If you're stuck, change your format. This says, try writing a scene entirely as dialogue, or as a journal entry, or as a letter from one character or another. When I usually recommend this, I usually say if you're writing on a computer, try writing it on paper. Or try writing it in a software program, like I switched the Tazumari Greed statue from a Word document to, Novelese. But I could have used Biblisco or any other format. I could have even put it in just a text document, just wrote it in a text document with absolutely no help whatsoever with any formatting or anything like that. So if you're stuck, change your format. Number 6, find accountability and hold yourself accountable for your progress or your lack of it. Remember, if it gets done, it's your fault. If it doesn't get done, it's also your fault. But accountability helps keep you on track and motivated while you strive to meet your goals. And some of the ways that you can find accountability are by joining a writing group. You can share your progress and feedback with your peers, and that can foster some encouragement and help motivate you to get it done. You can buddy up by finding a partner or a fellow writer to exchange weekly updates or goals. You can announce your plans. Tell your friends or social media followers about your writing project and how far you've gotten on it. People can start to become vested in your project if you give them regular updates on it. And some of those people may come back and say, hey, how are you doing on your novel? And if, the progress report you have to say is, well, I haven't written anything in a week, maybe that'll motivate you to get on the ball, sit down, write some more. Because your followers are wondering how you're doing and how your progress is coming. Motivational tip number 7. Allow yourself breaks. Burnout can be the enemy of motivation. Schedule breaks in your writing to recharge your creativity. It's okay to step away and take a short walk or meditate or even give yourself a day off. But don't use this as a crutch. Don't say, oh, I wrote last Monday and it's Tuesday of the next week and I, took a break Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and I'm going to take a break today because I should allow myself some breaks. Don't use it as a crutch or an excuse. Change what you create. If you're having a tough time with writing, try drawing or photography or journaling, or I actually crochet and make jewelry. And, I've got some adult coloring books. I have all these other things I can do if I'm burned out on writing and need a break. And these other creative outlets will still allow you to create while recharging your brain, especially crocheting. That's so repetitive. Depending on your pattern, it can be very, very repetitive. And don't feel guilty. Rest is a part of the process. And if you refresh your mind, you might discover that you have some new ideas. Number 8, reward yourself for the progress that you do make. Rewards can give you some positive reinforcement and turn writing into something you look forward to doing. So, give yourself a small reward for meeting a small goal. Have a favorite snack or a bath or a quick game of whatever you like to play. If it's phone games or PlayStation games or game console games, there we go. Game console games, or maybe you like playing volleyball or badminton or something like that. Treat yourself to a game when you hit a small goal. If you hit a major milestone, give yourself a big reward, like a dinner out or maybe a new book that you've had your eye on. And lastly, make it fun. Turn writing into a game. Maybe earn points for each word or scene that you create. There's actually a program called Habit something. Let me see if I can find it. Alright, I found it. I can't believe I found it. I used to use this. It's called Habitica, and you can motivate yourself to achieve your goals. And it's a free sign up. Let me see here if I can get into my old account. Well, it says, welcome to Habitica, so I guess maybe my thing timed out or something, but you can create yourself a little critter and give yourself a shirt, I guess. And skin, hair. Alright, this is like crazy. Okay, and some extra stuff like a wheelchair? That's weird. Alright, so that's not quite what I expected. They allow you, if you're disabled, you can have a wheelchair. That's interesting. And your accent, I guess that's the little flower. So it shows that you can have glasses, but not really. Alright, so they give you a couple of options. Next. What do you want to work on? Let's work on creativity. Finish. So then once you get in here, you can add a habit, add a daily thing to do, or add a thing like your to-do list, and then you can add a reward. So this gamifies what you're trying to do. So if you were going to do something, write 500 words, write 500 fiction words today. And it's a positive thing, and we'll say that it is medium, and we'll say that we want to do this daily, and we'll save it. So, perfection. I said writer instead of write. Oh well. Do this, then give yourself a reward. Watch TV, play a game, eat a treat. It's up to you. So, that's a fine reward. So we'll say that we did it. I guess I've already done it. Or finish a creative project, or work on a creative project. Okay. Work on so that would be mine. Work on the horror of the Tazumari Greed statue. And we'll say that this is a mediumly hard task. And the start date is today. It repeats daily. One day. And I can add some tags if I want. I can adjust my streak. So let's save this one. And we'll say that I've done it. You found new items. Completing tasks gives you a chance to find items like eggs, hatching potions, and pet food. Head to your inventory and try combining your new hatching potion and egg. Let's go. So now I have a cotton candy flying pig. So every time you do this, and I actually got pretty good at this, I would like put all my daily tasks into this thing, and I had a pretty good collection of critters. What's this quest? Dust bunnies. Okay, that's funny. So yeah, if you want to gamify your tasks and your writing and all that, this is one way to do it. And it might take a minute for you to adjust to using this thing. It's a little bit different than what I remember. But, you can try it out and see how you like it. So, Habitica might be one way that you can make your writing fun. Number 9, read and refuel your creativity. Immerse yourself in stories to stay inspired. In order to give yourself new ideas and stay inspired, you might want to read more fiction. Dive into books similar to what you're writing to learn and spark ideas in yourself. Try not to copy that author, though. You can also read other media or watch other media. I like to watch movies, is what I like to do to get new ideas. But you can listen to music and podcasts to give yourself some fresh perspectives and help you see your story in a new light. And then you can study about books about writing. So you can read about writing techniques, and that may ignite your enthusiasm for improving your writing. 10. Visualize your success. A strong mental picture of your end goal can help keep you motivated during challenging times. So, picture your final product. Imagine holding your finished book or sharing it with your readers. Write a letter to yourself. Describe why completing this story matters to you and what you hope to achieve by finishing it. And then, dream big. Visualize all those reviews that you're going to get and how much your readers are going to love your story. I used to with my Avia books, I used to see, movies and toys and, things like that with that book. Of course, it didn't go anywhere, but that helped keep me motivated, was that I could see this book turning into a movie and all these toys and things like that, kind of like what Star Wars did, except it would be my Avia books. That really helped keep me motivated. And for some final thoughts, remember that writing is a journey filled with highs and lows. Staying motivated requires a balance of discipline, self-care, and rekindling your passion for storytelling. Remember to be kind to yourself during tough days, and remember that progress, no matter how small, is still progress. So stay motivated, embrace the process, trust your creativity, and remember to celebrate each step forward. Your story is worth telling, and with perseverance, you'll see it to the end. Happy writing, and I hope you have a great day. And that's all for this writing tutorial. If you liked this video, please like and subscribe, and I will talk to you later.